Are you having a hard time figuring out what to get Dad for Father's Day? Shop now at sportshistorynetwork.com/row1 and save 15% off your order when you check out Row 1 Brand's Vintage Sports Pictorium Gallery. They have America's best sports art. With over 7,200 historic sports prints, you're assured to find something unique for Dad this Father's Day. If he's an NFL buff, check out the 1963 vintage NFL helmet poster. Shop now at sportshistorynetwork.com/row1.
This podcast is part of the Sports History Network, your headquarters for the yesteryear of your favorite sport. You can learn more at sportshistorynetwork.com.
Hello, sports fans, and welcome to another edition of Yesterday's Sports on the Sports History Network. In 1975, the cover of Sports Illustrated identified Soviet weightlifter Vasily Alekseyev as the world's strongest man. Few could contradict that claim. His achievements spoke for themselves. At the time, Alekseyev was preparing to win his 6th consecutive World Superheavyweight Championship. What made Alekseyev so powerful? When he was just 11 years old, Vasily was put to work in the forest to help his father and the other lumberjacks. It was his job to lift and move the heavy tree logs. He believed that this is where he gained his great strength. His first weightlifting barbell was an axle from an old truck. He began competing in weightlifting at the age of 18, but he didn't win his first world title until he was 28 years old. In March of 1970, he became the first man to lift a total of 600 kilos in the 3 lifts combined: clean and press, snatch, and clean and jerk. Later that year, he became the first man to clean and jerk 500 pounds at the World Championships in Columbus, Ohio. ABC's The Wide World of Sports televised the competition, and suddenly, Vasily Alekseyev became a very famous man. In 1971, Alekseyev again won the World Championship title and continued his onslaught of breaking world records as he became the first man to press 500 pounds. And in April 1972, he increased the world record total to 645 kilos, while also breaking the clean and press record with a lift of 236.5 kilograms. That's 521 pounds. Later that year, he competed in his first Olympics in Munich, Germany, and won the gold medal while breaking 4 Olympic records. In an interview many years later, Alekseyev spoke about how difficult it was to focus on weightlifting after the tragic events of Black September just the day before. I knew many of the murdered athletes. It was difficult to focus on the competition after the murders, and many of the other weightlifters performed poorly because of it. Alekseyev continued to dominate the super heavyweight division for the next 3 years, winning the World Championship in 1973, 74, and 75, all while increasing the world records. And in 1976, he again won the gold medal at the Olympics in Montreal with a 2-lift total of 440 kilos. His nearest competition was 35 kilos behind him. That's 77 pounds. In 1977, at the age of 35, Alekseyev showed no signs of slowing down. He once again won the World Championships and increased his world record in the snatch to 190 kilos, 419 pounds. 2 months later, Nearing his 36th birthday, he raised his clean and jerk world record to 256 kilos, 564 pounds. 1 month later, at an exhibition in Las Vegas, Nevada, he snatched 100 kilos, 220 pounds with one arm. But by 1978, age and injuries began to take their toll. He suffered a hip injury and had to withdraw while competing at the 1978 World Championships. His streak of 8 World Championship victories in a row had come to an end. He went into a temporary retirement, but began training in 1979 for the 1980 Olympics in Moscow. But as it turned out, the comeback was ill-advised. Alekseyev was unsuccessful with all 3 of his attempts in the snatch. By the time the Olympics began, he was nearing 39 years old, and his weight had ballooned to 357 pounds. Retirement was at hand, and Alekseyev left the sport with no less than 80 world records to his credit. What enabled Alekseyev to dominate the super heavyweight division for almost an entire decade? It certainly wasn't his physique. He had an abnormally large belly and appeared to be fat and out of shape. But he was very athletic for a man his size, displaying tremendous speed and flexibility. He also had excellent technique and explosive power. The characteristics that separated him from his competitors was extreme confidence. Before approaching the bar, he would close his eyes for roughly 10 seconds, appearing to be in an almost trance-like state. When asked why he did that, he said, "It is a visualization technique. When I approach the bar, I know I can lift the weight because I have already done it in my mind." He was also known to psych out competitors by not beginning his warm-ups until everyone else had done so. He sat with his feet up watching them prepare. A fellow lifter once asked, "Aren't you going to start getting ready and begin your warm-up routines?" Alekseyev replied, "No, I'm sitting here waiting for you guys to finish." It was Alekseyev's way of telling them that the gold medal was his. He was also somewhat of a recluse. For most of his career, he trained alone, using self-made equipment and doing twice-a-day lifting sessions at home. When asked why he didn't have a coach like most other lifters did, he replied, "I don't trust the coaches. It might sound egotistical, but I know more than they do. Only I understand what is right for me." As a matter of interest, it should be pointed out that Vasily's weightlifting success came during the height of the Cold War. Tensions were high between the United States and the Soviet Union, but the athletes generally got along well, including Alekseyev, primarily because of camaraderie among weightlifters. For example, USA weightlifters would often trade designer jeans to the Russian lifters in exchange for weightlifting shoes and lifting belts. Leadership was also in the picture for Alekseyev. In 1990, he was named the head coach of the Soviet national team, and he coached the team for 3 years. Under the banner of Unified Team, the team placed first at the 1992 Olympics in Barcelona by winning 5 gold medals and 4 silver medals. Alekseyev had many interests, and his favorite hobby was reading. He also liked to cook, sing, and was an avid gardener. He was particularly proud of his vegetable garden. In the 1975 article about him in Sports Illustrated, he boasted, "I have the finest peppers in all of Russia." Vasily Alekseyev died in November 2011, just 6 weeks before his 70th birthday, leaving behind Olimpiada, his wife of almost 50 years, and their sons, Sergei and Dmitry. Vasily Alekseyev was and still is one of my all-time favorite athletes. At the Sports History Network, we're all about sports yesteryear, and so we're pleased to introduce you to Row 1, an online memorabilia gallery and shop that brings sports history to life. The Row 1 gallery includes over 5,200 reproduced prints of team posters, game program covers, game tickets, advertisements in baseball, pro and college football, pro and college basketball, and more. And any gallery item may be printed in a variety of sizes on wood, metal, canvas, acrylic, or poster paper. And in the Row 1 shop, check out thousands more unique items with retro and historical designs dating back to 1876, including t-shirts and long-sleeve shirts, phone cases and mugs, blankets and pillows, towels, and even shower curtains. Go to sportshistorynetwork.com/row1 for access to the full Row 1 catalog for gallery prints and gift items. Plus, get a 15% discount off all prints on the Row 1 Pictorial Gallery with coupon code SHN15. Visit Row 1 at sportshistorynetwork.com/row1.
This podcast is part of the Sports History Network, your headquarters for the yesteryear of your favorite sport. You can learn more at sportshistorynetwork.com.
We here at the Sports History Network proudly partner with 26 podcasts, all revolving around the history of sports. But did you know that many of our hosts were sports history authors way before they started their shows? It's true. We've got Joe Ziemba, host of When Football Was Football, Joe Zagurski, host of Pro Football in the 1970s, Mark Morthier, host of Yesterday's Sports, Tommy Phillips, host of Lombardi Memories, and Scott Adamson, co-host of From the 55-Yard Line. All these authors have many books for you to choose from. To check them out, go to our website at sportshistorynetwork.com/sportshistorybooks. Pick up your copy today. Soundtrack provided by Kevin MacLeod of filmmusic.io.